Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday and welcome to this Facebook Live this morning. We're going to be talking all about how to survive working at home with your sanity and your body intact. As you pop on this morning, just say hi. Let me know how you're doing and where you are, what's going on in your world. What a crazy world. A friend of mine sent me a text message last night and because normally we catch up every Friday for a drink in the bar downstairs, and she said, can you believe it's only a week since we caught up last time? So much has happened, and what an incredible time we are living in. I guess what I would really like to share with you most of all this morning is that the greatest gift you can give yourself right now is to stay out of fear. Feel it, but let it go, because it's the fear that was really going to cause challenges for many of us, and of course it impacts on your immune system. So feel the fear, but deal with it, process it, release it, watch a happy video, watch something bright. Be careful who you are following on social media, in particular where they're at. Morning, Nicole. Good morning, everybody, as you come on this morning. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Deborah. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to try and keep this, I've got my camera here and I've got my computer here, so I'm going to try and keep it going this morning. I'm going to roll through this, a lot of questions this morning, so if you've got a lot of questions, please, a lot of things I want to share with you, so if you've got a lot of questions, please let me know. But before we start, for those of you who may or may not remember, there's a gal who hops on our Facebook Live every Saturday morning. Her name is Sandy Gurney. She's always on. Today she's not, because she's actually running for council elections up in the Murway Shire, up in Charleville. So she won't be on this morning, but I just thought it would be really nice. I know she'll watch this later. If you just want to do a shout out to her, she's an amazing person. She is the mum of 5 kids. 4 of those kids are on the autism spectrum. Her husband is he's a farmer. Well, actually, he manages a mango farm up at Gilbert River, far north Queensland. And Sandy literally is a single mum for most of the time to her 5 kids in Charleville. So we're great if you just pop a little message and of support for her today. She'll be on the hustings today. And I know a very challenging time. We've been through the elections. I know what it's like. So congratulations, Sandy. We wish you all the best. I know you'll be watching this later on, and you will be a fantastic member of the council up in the Shire. And I know you have these people's interests best at heart. So we send you lots of love and support. Sandy also runs, I have another page, an autism page called Asperger's Parent Connect, and Sandy actually is the administrator on that. She manages that. We have about 11,000 people on that page, and she does such a great job, as well as she's a carer, an NDIS carer. So she's an amazing person. So Sandy, fingers crossed, we're sending you our love today. All right, so just pop in here. Oh, that's lovely. Thanks, Nicole. Oh, God, that's a shame, Robin. All right, can everybody else hear me? I hope everybody, well, you can, because there's people commenting. Sorry, Robin. All right, let's go. So let me know if you are currently working from home right now. Are you home right now and you have not been in this situation? Or if you're like me and you're an extrovert, you're finding this whole kind of staying at home thing really hard. For all my introverts and empaths on the call, I know you're having a wonderful time. Us extroverts are really struggling. Oh my gosh, I just had to get in the car yesterday and just go, and where did I go? I went to the Price line to buy some lipstick. I was driving myself crazy. I normally take Friday afternoons off, and we often go have lunch or shopping, or get my nails done. Of course, my nail girls shut up shop too. I know, first world problems. I get it, first world problems, but boy. Anyway, I went a bit crazy yesterday, and I'm thinking about all my introvert friends who are just loving this, including my 2 daughters who live together. One's an extrovert, the other's an introvert, and the introvert's just loving this. The extrovert's going nuts. It's challenging times for all. All right, let's talk about working from home. So if you've suddenly found yourself working from home, it can be really challenging, and especially, as I said, if you're an extrovert and you are having to socially isolate, socially distance. Well, I shouldn't call it. I don't think it's socially isolating. I think it's physical isolating, physical distancing, because we still socially call each other. I know I'm calling my dad every day and checking with my sisters and family members every day. So that kind of helps me with that kind of physical distancing. But it's actually this week, 10 years ago, I left my corporate job. And it was a very, very vibrant, dynamic, fast-moving job. I was a great multitasker. I had the ability to keep 25 balls in the air at any given time. I was the person that could direct the traffic. People would come and ask me questions, and I always knew the answer. And I was, a great networker and very involved in the community. So I always had answers for people. They were searching for them. Anyway, so I decided to leave my job to become an author and a speaker and an entrepreneur, and I thought, fantastic, here I go. I'm going to be working from home. I'm going to have so much time. I'm going to get so much done. I found the first 6 months really, really hard because I was suddenly just had all this time on my hands, and I found it really difficult to really get into a routine. It took me about 6 months to really find my speed to get where I was going. And so I'm going to share with you today some of the strategies I used to not only help me get motivated, overcome procrastination, but also let go of the 8 kilos I put on in those 6 months when I had to come home. Because, while you're at work, I'm busy and, I was having coffees with people, just at morning tea time, we'd have lunch and everybody, we always take our own lunch, a salad and tuna and all that stuff. And then suddenly I was home and the fridge and the pantry became my best friends. Do you know this thing? Is anybody else doing this right now? You go to the pantry and you're standing there looking for something to eat, can't find anything, shut it again. 15 minutes, you go back and you're having a look again, see if there's something else. Let me know if that's you at the moment. And let me help you with getting some strategies to do with that. Yeah, Nicole, I said to Mum, it's an introvert's world. It is an introvert's world. You guys are on it. You guys are on it. All right. So tip number 1 to working from home. Here we go. We'll get straight into it. Keep the same routine as if you were going to work. This is something I've always done for literally every day for 10 years. I have been at my desk by 8 a.m. every morning. Except if I've got an early client call at 7 o'clock. But I have been at my desk every day at 8 o'clock. I've kept that routine. I also dress for work every day. So makeup's on, hair is done. I don't have shoes on, but I'm always dressed for work. And I've seen a lot of people talking about trying to work in there. Oh, good morning, Helen. Lovely to see you too. Oh, yeah, Robin, loving as an introvert. Yeah, absolutely. What was I just saying? I've seen a lot of people posting about working in pajamas. I couldn't do that. I find that really difficult. To me, I've got to shift state. It's about shifting state, right? So if I get up, do my morning routine, which I'll talk about in a minute, and get dressed, makeup on, I'm at my desk at 8 o'clock, cup of tea in hand, just like I used to do when I was working. Exactly the same. I'd be sitting at the cup of tea and that clock ticks, 8 o'clock I'm sitting down. As I said, unless I have a client at 7, I'm at my desk every day at 8 a.m. Now, if you're used to somebody who's used to commuting, say you're used to a 20-minute drive or a 30-minute drive or a 40-minute drive, one of the things that I really loved was I got into the habit of listening to podcasts or watching informative or inspirational videos in that time that I would normally commute to work. So I use that time as kind of learning. It became my university. I just pretended I was going to work and I'd put a podcast on, use that time. So that's another strategy you can use in the time that you would normally use to commute. Listen to something inspiring, informative, that's going to keep you motivated for the rest of the day. I always have a morning tea and lunchtime break. So I'm at my desk by 8, and I'm going to share it with you in a minute how I chunk down my day. But I try and have a break around 10:30, as if I was normally having a cup of tea or coffee, like a morning tea. I have lunch, usually around 12:30 or 1. I have lunch, and I always have a 20-minute nap. So I either do some meditation or a nap at that time. I find that lifts my energy up. I naturally have a low energy between the hours of 12, around about 11:30, 12 to around 2. They are my low energy times. So I'm very mindful of that, and so I guard that. Now, I want to share with you how I kind of came to that realization when my energy levels were high and low, and I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. But I want to finish this off by just saying that what I did in those times when I was having the break, I actually used that as my Facebook time. That's when I would get on. So if I was having a 20-minute break, say for morning tea, or a lunchtime break, I try and get outside in the lunchtime break. We're very fortunate where I live. I've got a balcony and can have a great view. But in my days when I was living in the house, I'd try and have lunch outside if I could. So that was a break. Yeah, that's great, Helen. That's that routine, isn't it? But I found for me, I was missing the social interaction. And so that's where Facebook came in. So I now, when I'm having that break, say 10:30, 11, that's when I get on and actually just socialise on Facebook. But talk to people, send people messages. I talk to my kids on Messenger, just send them messages. I found that really helped with the social isolation and stopped me spending so much time on social media. I don't know if this is happening for you at the moment, but because of this kind of physical distancing and physical isolation, I'm needing that as an extrovert, needing that social connection far more than normal. So I'm actually giving myself a break in doing that. So using Facebook for what it's supposed to be, right, social connection, but limiting the time that I use it. Second thing, your morning routine. Now, I just guard my morning routine like it is with my life. So I'm up every morning still. I get up between 4:30 and 5 every morning. Meditation, workout, journaling, EFT. My time in the morning is very, very critical for me. I know if anybody else has got a morning routine, they know if you do it, it feels so much better, right? If I miss any one of those elements, walking, or this week in the rain, I've actually been, I don't know if anybody saw my Insta story, but I was trying to follow a online dance class. My daughter is a social media director for a dance studio in Canada, and they've been posting online dances, and I was trying to follow their, I don't know what they call it, sexy street or something. It was hilarious. I think I grew new neurons, which is kind of interesting because I certainly gained more. Those dancers, how they know all those steps. Oh, you loved my dancing, Nicole. I sent it to Caitlin and she said, Mum, you should post it. I said, do I look like an idiot? She said, oh, so what the heck? I said, yeah, what the heck? If I look like an idiot, I look like an idiot. But it was really interesting because I realised that was only like 20 seconds that I posted, and I don't know, counts of 32 or whatever it is, like 4/8 or whatever it was. Boy, that was hard to remember. So I'm going to challenge myself to do that now, to dance and learn some dancing, because it's really good for your brain. But anyway, so the morning routine, really important. Stick with that. Don't give that up. I know there's a tendency when you're working at home to say, you know what, I'll lay a little bit in bed. If you want to be productive, if you want to use this time to be productive, treat this as a normal day. All right, where are we next to? Okay, number 3. Work with time instead of against it. Now, many years ago, I had this fantastic business coach, and she was phenomenal. She used to do a lot of work with Darren Hardy, and I don't know if you know Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy was the editor of Success magazine, and he does a lot of personal development stuff. And her business and coach and mentor at the time was Darren Hardy, and then because I couldn't afford Darren Hardy, but so Mari was mine. Anyway, she got us to do this thing which I just loved. So for a week, you had to write down how you spent your day every 30. Sandy, you're on. We all just said hello to you. We didn't think you were going to be on this morning. We wish you well today. Our fingers are crossed for you. Hope you can feel our love for you. And we are with you today. So fingers crossed, we're sending lots of love to you, and we're hoping the Shire votes well, properly. So good luck today. Dancers say break a leg, but don't do that. Yes, time I used to take kids to school. This is Nicole. Time I used to take kids to school is now my calming moment. Yeah. Fantastic. Oh my gosh, my computer's just playing up. Sorry, guys. My computer's just playing up and I'm going to have to reboot this. Okay, and we're going to keep on with the live. Yes, keep on with the live. Here we go. I've got this issue with my computer that keeps doing the weird thing, so I'm going to have to so I'm going to have trouble. Hang on, go. At the moment, just looking at your responses. We'll see if I can fix this. Well, we don't have to go anywhere too badly. Let me see if I can get Google up. All right, let's go. We're right. Okay, so we're talking about the time monitor. So what we did for a whole week was that we had to monitor our time. So every 30 minutes, I had to write down what you did. From the time you woke up in the morning till the time you went to bed at night, was finding out how you spent your time. Now, this worked in two ways. One was it helped you. Sorry, guys, my computer is really doing some weird things at the moment. I'm just trying to shut it down. What it did was actually kept me on task, because it's like a little like a food journal. You know, when you keep an eye on your food, it actually made me realise how to stay on track. I'm trying to do two things at once here. Let me just shut this whole thing down. But it also, what it did was it helped me understand where my high parts of my day, and as far as high energy go, and my low energy days. So, yeah, I'm wearing green, Sandy. Sandy green, we're good. Fingers crossed it's a good omen, Sandy. I just didn't realise that. But yes, Sandy's colour today is green. So write it out on an Excel spreadsheet. Come from the time you wake up in the morning, every 30 minutes, what you're doing. And you do it for an entire week, Saturday and Sunday as well. Then you go back and review that at the end of the week. And you will begin to map out where your high productive times are and when your low productive times are. So for me, it was very, very clear after I'd done this for a week that my high productive times were anywhere between 5 in the morning and about 11 o'clock in the morning. Then my energy levels would wane from about 12 till 2:30, maybe even 3 o'clock, and then they'd pick up again at 3. So watching that, when I was able to do that, what I was able to do was find where I put my most productive time. So that meant, as I said, my mornings are very precious. So from 5 in the morning to 11 in the morning, that's my most productive time. It's when I see most of my clients. It's when I'm doing most of my productive work. Of course, my meditation, journaling, tapping, all that stuff. Then from around about lunchtime further on, that's where I take a break. If I've got a client coming on board, say around about 1 o'clock, I make sure that hour that I have a break between one client to the next is that I'm really looking at ways to increase my energy. And then again, that productive work again about 3. So it stopped me beating myself up when I couldn't get particular things done. So if I was trying to do productive work at 2:30 in the afternoon, for instance, and I couldn't get it done and I'd be beating myself up, instead of doing that, what I did was recognise that's not a good time for me to be doing productive work. Does that make sense? I hope it's making sense. And interestingly enough, my second burst of productiveness is around about 3:30 till around 6. I can actually keep on working at that time. And I honestly think it comes from the days of having the children at home. You know, you pick the kids up from school at 3 and you go into that second shift. I really think it's that. Because I do a lot of emails, I do a lot of social media posting at that time, and I feel much more productive. So by keeping a tab on what you're doing, as I said, one, it's going to say, oh, I've got to write down what I'm doing. I'm not going to waste time. But secondly, you're going to see where your high productive times are and your low productive times are. So that's that. Number 4, I want to talk a little bit about why we reach for food at this time when we're bored. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, it's the procrastination aspect. You know, you're trying to put off doing things. The secret meaning behind procrastination is, one, not having a strong enough vision. 2, your vision's not in alignment with your values. Because when your vision is aligned with your values, that gives you the energy and the implement to go. So if right now you're back home working, go back and review your vision. You know, every year I begin with a vision, my word, my vision, and everything is up on my, I've got a wall calendar that's up around my walls that I look at every morning. Ha ha ha. That wall calendar's gone right out the window because of every event for the year and all that stuff. And it's all going to do that. So look at making sure that your vision is realigned. You have to redo that again, redo what's happening with that. And align that. The second part of procrastination is often the fear of success. For many people, it's the fear of success, not the fear of failure. In my experience with the people that I work with, most times procrastination is fear of success. So when you're feeling you're procrastinating, you think, okay, my vision is strong, my emotion underneath that vision is strong, I've got those things implementing. Now what am I worried about? What am I fearful of? Am I fearful of implementing that success? And that's where you go to, okay, what's holding me back? Now, for many people, that's where the food comes in. Because the food is just trying to either distract you or fill a hole, fill that gap. So there's three types of foods in my experience, and I'm working with people, 3 types of foods that we tend to reach for certain emotions. First one is chips or crackers, so crunchy foods, right? Crunchy foods. And that's usually being sad, frustrated, angry, annoyed. Anything that's involved with not speaking your truth is often that reaching for the crunchy food. So if you're procrastinating and you're not feeling that you've got everything together, then that food is often what is replacing it. So look in your world where you're not speaking your truth. Look in your world where you feel unsafe to speak your truth. Look in your world where you're feeling angry and frustrated. And you know, there's a lot of anger and frustration at the moment. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's feeling this anger and frustration because what we're going through is not of our making. And so rather than speaking it, you know, we swallow it, chunk down it. The second part of that is bread and pasta. Bread and pasta often indicate times of wanting to go back to a simpler time. So if you are, if you're feeling the need for breads or pastas, or those simple carbohydrate things like macaroni and cheese or anything like that, remember that that's simply you're looking for a time when things felt simpler for you. Okay, so you're looking for that. You know, when Mum used to make sandwiches, you know, all of us, most of us, I think on this call, we all had sandwiches for lunch, right? Sorry, my computer's doing all sorts of weird things here, other than rebooting. Bless its cotton socks. It's being overused at the moment. Poor thing. Just going to shut it down. I got a live stream sort of not long after this, so it's all go today. So bread and pasta. And the other one is chocolate. Chocolate is often a need for love, understanding, feeling life is too hard, and I just need a reward. So if you find yourself procrastinating, if you find yourself not being able to get into things, just check around what the emotion is, what you're feeling. Am I self-sabotaging my own success? Have I hit an upper limit problem, as Gay Hendricks talks about, upper limit problem? Have I hit that upper limit problem when I'm not letting myself experience the success I know I want and I deserve? Where do I feel like I'm an imposter? Do you know, while we're really busy and balancing all these balls in the air, we don't have to deal with this stuff, right? We can put it all behind us. But when we're home and we're on our own and we're having to do the work without being interrupted by emails and people knocking on your door and all those other things, we can just put all this under wraps. But when you're home and you're socially isolating or physically isolating, physically distancing, that's a whole different story. In fact, I'm seeing more and more that people are really coming up at the moment with the stuff they need to clear. That's happening so fiercely at the moment, almost instantaneously. And I know for me, I'm doing a lot of EFT at the moment, a lot of meditating and a lot of journaling, because I'm, one, missing my kids, but number two, there's some other stuff coming up for me. And anger at what's going on. Number one, frustration, which I think is just... Anyway, I'm not going to go there. So look at all those emotions. So remember that... Let's go quickly run over them again. Routine. Keep the routine going as if you're going to work every day. Makeup on, hair done. Don't have to wear shoes if you don't want. Sit down at your desk at a certain time every day. Number two, use your normal commute time as podcast listening time. Have regular lunch breaks and morning tea breaks. Add that nap in the middle of the day. Oh, what an absolute treat that is, to be able to have a nap in the middle of the day. I just love it. It's my thing for 20 minutes. A 20-minute kip, as my dad used to say. Love, love, love it. You know, all the research is showing that having that 20-minute nap really powers up your creativity, your innovation, your energy levels. So if you're waning, give yourself the permission to have a nap. Keep your morning routine happening. Meditation, journaling, exercise. I cannot emphasize at the moment, get outside and go for a walk while we still can. Get outside and go for a walk. You know, it's great to do a workout in the house, which I'm loving, and of course it rained the other day and I did that, but really getting down in nature, we need it. Even take your shoes off, you know, just stand in the grass, whatever it is, we need that grounding. So get out and do for that walk. Recording your time, so you're working with time, not against it in your daily routine. Watch the types of foods you are eating and see if you can identify where this feeling of low energy is coming from, whether that's coming from emotions that you normally wouldn't deal with. And then, of course, looking at imposter syndrome, fear of success, all that stuff. One other thing that I want to also mention before I go is that we're all different types of personalities. Now, my clients don't know this, but they're actually getting this this week. Is understanding the type of personality you are. There are 4 types of different personalities in the personality profile that I work with. One is an achiever, one is a socializer, one is a peacemaker, and one is a competitor. Achievers are people who really enjoy achieving. So they're probably feeling really good at the moment by being at home, being able to be very productive. But there's an element to an achiever that requires socialization. So if you're not getting that socialization at the moment, you can find that their energy is dropping. A socializer needs energy. They must have social interaction. They're probably the ones who are struggling the most at the moment. If you're an organizer, you know, if you love connecting people, if you love organizing the coffee mornings, if you love just walking with groups of people, you're going to find this more difficult than anybody else right now because your energies will drop really low. Nicole, yes, you are a peacemaker. Absolutely. The peacemakers are the introverts of the world. They love protecting their energy. They dislike disharmony or arguments, and they need to pull back. So this is perfect time for them, our peacemakers out there. They're also our very intuitives and the empaths. And so this is a time they can really protect their energy. And the last one's a competitor. Now, the competitors and the peacemakers sit in the same quadrant, actually, but a competitor is usually the ones that don't need people around them. very self-driven, very self-motivated. So it's those sitting at the bottom of those two quadrants that are probably doing okay at the moment, peacemaker, competitor, but it's the achievers and the socialisers that would be really struggling. So it's to understand your personality type and making sure you're putting things in plan. So for instance, yeah, Robin, I'll bet you are too. For instance, if you are a socialiser, you're going to need things like Facebook as a social connection. So monitoring that time that you're on it and be okay with that. Last night I was on a great networking call at 4:30, so a networking group I belong to, the Women's Network Australia. We had a great network where everyone had a glass of wine and we just connected. That was really good. Your achievers, you're the ones that are going to have to watch. Yes, you want to be achieving, but you've got no one to share it with. Because achievers like to share their stuff. So the achievers, you're going to be struggling a little bit. Peacemaker and organiser, Sandy, yes. Helen Harrison, yes, Helen. Social, me too, Helen. You'll be probably like me, Helen. You move across the quadrant. We move across the quadrant. We don't go up and down. So we move as achiever and socialiser. So when I was, before I started my job, the 10-year job I love, which I love, and lots of people around, I was a socialiser. And then when I was in a job with lots of socialisation, I actually moved across to the achiever. So it's really interesting. That part of us changes, but the bottom part don't change. Peacemakers and competitors move across the quadrant. So again, Helen, for you, like me, connecting is really important to keep our energy levels up. We need that connection. So in other words, give yourself permission to get on Facebook if you can't get out and meet with people. Or phone people. Phone people. Keep your energy. When you watch that energy level going down, phone people, speak to people, and you'll be okay. Is there any questions we have? I know we are 2 minutes past the hour. If there's anybody that has any questions that they have before we finish off today, just a reminder, in this group I will continue to be posting EFT videos all this week. So if you have something you are really stuck on, let me know, and I will actually do something on that. And look, can I just say, if you know somebody who is really struggling at the moment, who has lost their job, or perhaps their business is closed, can you DM me and send me a direct message, and I want to be able to work out somehow I can support those who have lost their jobs or their businesses are folding. I just heard last night the Myers is closing today, so another 10,000 people are not working for at least a month. We spoke to somebody in retail the other day at Australia Fair where we were shopping, and she said they can access their holiday pay, their superannuation, but they're given separation certificates, so if they need to go to Centrelink, they can. But if you know somebody that's really struggling, please let me know, because I would like to help in some way. So let me just go through some of these comments that are flying through. Robin, video conferencing is as good as you need. Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you, Helen. Deep and meaningful. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that means. Something went through, obviously, that I missed. Let me see if I can get my thing up again. So let me see. And if you are struggling at the moment and you want to have a chat, just send me a message and let me see if and how I can help you get through this time. As I mentioned, the thing is, what's really important for all of us is to stay out of fear. Stay out of the fear right now. Please be careful of what you're reading and posting on social media. Please be really mindful of what's going. And good call. Isolation gives me energy. Yeah, I know, right? Exactly, it does. Oh, thanks, Joe. Yes, I've always been a green girl. So funny. I've always loved green. It's one of my favourite colours. Green and yellow, they're my favourite colours in the world. I've got a lot of green. Jerry goes, oh, not green again. Don't bring something over that's green. Yeah, I like a therapist group briefly. Yes. Yep. I think we this is the time for real kindness. Gosh, I'm hearing some lovely stories of kindness, aren't you? My daughter did a story the other day of an aged care home in Vancouver, and they had some dancers out the front and music on, and they were running a dance class. All the people in the retirement village just dancing along with them. Oh God, it was so lovely. It made me cry. And I said, calling my dad every day. My poor dad. You know, he's all his social groups. He's a real socialiser too, and his social groups are all cancelled. And I'm keeping a real eye on him. Sandy, staying away from all that was bad enough, and Brisbane want to picked up on. Yeah. Sandy, you really need to protect your energy as well. So, all right. Well, with that, my friends, if there's any questions we have before we leave, please let me know. If not, let's stay connected. Chances are we will be probably in lockdown, I would say the next 10 days. Yeah, I agree with you, Kathy. I think we're going to be a kinder, gentler race of people at the end of all of this. And I believe that we are learning a lot about ourselves. And I was actually speaking to a friend of mine last night who was really in fear, young guy. And he said, no one's ever been through this before. And I said, no, not like this, but we've all been through this before in some description. Every single one of us has faced challenges at some stage in our lives. And the things we didn't think we'd get through, we got through because we're here. And to me, for all of us, so those of us who've been through great challenges in our lives, and it doesn't necessarily have to be financial, it could be relationship-wise, whether that be health-wise. We've all been through great challenges we didn't think we'd get through, and we did. And this is the same. And, as he's telling me this story about not getting through to him, I noticed he had 2 phones, a pair of Gucci shoes on, a Rolex watch, and he usually runs 100 million miles an hour. And he can't go shopping and spend $1,000 this weekend, and have to learn to eat in, cook your own meals. There's a few, look, I agree. Look, I honestly think, yeah, I agree, Pauline. I think we are having a rest, and I think we needed it. We absolutely needed it. For those of us on the other side of 50, I often think back to, and I'm going on a bit long, when he said to me last night, we've never been through this before, I thought, boy, tell your great-grandparents who went through the Depression, we've never been through this before. When there was no food and people were on the road looking for work. People in World War I and World War II, and even, what we went through in the recession of the 90s, we've been through some tough times, but in particular the Great Depression, it gave me such a great understanding of my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, what they actually went through. Can you imagine sending your 18-year-old boy off to war in World War I and World War II and not hearing from them for months? Can you remember? Can you imagine? What that must have been like, the heartbreak that, we hear the stories, right? But I am so grateful I can speak to my children 4 or 5, sometimes 10 times a day. They're always connecting. I am so grateful we live in this time. I'm so grateful that I can walk down to the supermarket still and buy food. I'm so grateful that I can connect with you guys every Saturday and during the week. How lucky are we to be going through this now and not, as Robin just said, in 1918? Imagine. So we will be okay. We have a readjustment. And I do feel for businesses that are going to go to the wall. I do feel for people who have lost their jobs. But there are solutions, and we will find them. And as I said all the time, this is why I love this group. We are the leaders of calm. We are the wise women. We are the ones who will show the way by releasing our own stuff, our fears, as we're going through this, clearing it so we can be fully present for those who've never been through this before or something like it. And And it's okay. We'll be okay. We will be okay if we. And as I said, I'm just, how lovely the kindness in the world we're seeing, and the generosity and the slowing down. And as so many friends, my friends who have children are saying, this is wonderful. I'm not racing around to sport and having to do all those crazy things that we do. I'm getting to know them again, and they're getting to know me, and we're having dinners instead of throwing something on the table quickly because they're rushing in from soccer and they've got to get homework done. So it is, and I think we can look at this as being gratitude for whatever Mother Earth is sending to us, then that we will all survive. But thank you everybody for being such the leaders of calm, the way showers and the wise women. We are the ones. We're the ones. Remember in the tribes, the Indian tribes and the Polynesian tribes, and in Hawaii, I know the women are revered. The older women are revered. They're the ones that hold the space for the whole family. That's our job. That's our job. So our job's to make sure we're okay, looking after ourselves, getting done what we need to get done, and we will help others do exactly the same because it's our time. For the empaths and the introverts on this call today, it's your time too, right? This is your time because this is perfect for you. And for us extroverts who are struggling, we've got a lot to learn from you guys. Oh my goodness gracious me. I got a little crazy yesterday, but we're all good. 24 hours, 7 days a week, I'm with my husband. Isn't that just lovely? Lucky we really like each other. Or we get a little testy every now and then. So I had to go out yesterday and just make an excuse to get to Priceline. All right, lovely people, let's stay connected. Please stay connected. Please use this group as much as you can. If you are struggling, if you are really struggling, please reach out. Do not go through this alone. Do not go through this alone. We're here for each other. And with that, time to say goodbye. Have a great weekend, whatever you go. I know you're going nowhere, so whatever you're going to do, have a great weekend. And I look forward to talking to you this time next week at 7:30 for the Facebook Live. And who knows what the world will look like this time next week. Who knows? I'm lucky we are adaptable. That's right. You're not alone, Sandy. Good luck today. Thanks, Elle. Thank you, everybody. Have a fabulous weekend, and we shall talk next week in this brave new world. Hey, Tracy. Sorry I missed you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everything is going well in your world too. All right, my friends. Say goodbye, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.